Welcome to the deep dive. You know that feeling, right? Starting a new job. It's this mix of, excitement for something new, but also, well, a bit of uncertainty. New people, new ways of doing things, just figuring out the vibe of the team. We've all been there. But what we're really digging into today is what actually makes a new person successful. Not just getting by, but really hitting their stride. We're doing a deep dive into the whole world of employee onboarding.
Yeah, and it's way more than just the first day paperwork shuffle, Good onboarding, effective onboarding, it's not just a nice to have, it's actually pretty critical. We're talking better retention long term, people getting productive faster, and honestly, it impacts the whole business's success. And today we're looking at some really practical tips, the kind of stuff HR Cloud and similar experts often highlight.
Exactly. It's less about a checklist, more about crafting that initial experience. So our mission here is to give you, our listener, some real actionable stuff, strategies you can actually use, insights to maybe rethink how you bring new folks onto your team. We want to help make sure that start is smooth, positive, really empowering, setting people up right from the get-go. So let's jump into the first big piece. Okay, first up, using the right tools and, importantly, automation. How many times have we seen manual processes just make everything slow and clunky when someone new starts? It feels so outdated, right?
Oh, definitely. It's such a common trap, and honestly, it costs more than people think. Relying purely on manual onboarding, well, it doesn't just slow things down, it can really sour that crucial first impression. But automation, that's where things get interesting. It cuts down the admin load massively for HR, for managers, saves real money, real time, and maybe the biggest thing, it just makes the whole experience feel smoother, more professional for the new hire. And we're talking specific tools here. Think about HR payroll systems getting pay and benefits sorted instantly.
Yeah.
Or like dedicated training software delivering stuff they actually need. Even applicant tracking systems, the ATS. You might think that's just for hiring.
Yeah, I usually think of ATS just for the recruitment phase.
Right, but integrate it well with your main HR system, and it can kick off onboarding before day one, sending welcome info, getting digital forms signed, background checks, maybe even some pre-start training modules. It saves so much admin hassle and straight away tells the new person, hey, this place is organized. And the numbers back it up. Good software can slash onboarding time, some say up to 60%, and get people fully productive maybe 3 times faster. We're talking digital forms, workflows kicking off automatically, structured online portals. It guides them through.
Wow, 60% faster. It's not trivial. That really changes the game in those first few weeks, moving from paperwork to actual work. But you mentioned tools and automation. I've heard the counter argument. Can too much tech make it feel impersonal? Like you're just interacting with the system?
That's a really valid point. And it's absolutely not about replacing the human element. It's about enhancing it. Automation should handle the repetitive stuff, the paperwork, the process tracking. That frees up the manager, the mentor, the team to focus on what humans do best. Building connections, giving real guidance, making someone feel like they belong. So the balance is key. Use tech for efficiency and consistency, but design in those moments for real human interaction. Streamline with tech, personalize with people.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Streamline with tech, personalize with people. I like that. But even with great tech, if someone doesn't know what they're actually supposed to be doing, well, they're still lost. So that leads us perfectly to the second point. Being crystal clear about duties and responsibilities. Someone might get the gist from the interview, sure, but the day-to-day specifics, often quite fuzzy, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely fuzzy. And this prompts a question, doesn't it? How clear are we, really, about the actual tasks and why they matter? It's so important to give new hires those specifics, really granular details, as early as you possibly can. And that means doing the prep work before they arrive. You need to be able to say, okay, here's what your typical day might look like, and here's why these tasks are important. Maybe create something like a role map. And that's more than a job description. It should show not just what they do, but why it connects to the team, to the company goals, who they need to work with. Or, a really good employee handbook that spells out the scope, the expectations, who they report to. When people understand their impact, maybe even see it visually mapped out, they feel embedded much faster. They get the purpose. Skip this clarity, and you get confusion, wasted effort. It's frustrating for everyone.
Yeah, feeling like you're just spinning your wheels in the first few weeks is awful.
Yeah.
But things change so fast now, roles evolve. How do you keep those precise details from becoming instantly out of date?
Good question. It means that role map, or whatever you use, it can't be static. Think of it as a living document. Smart companies build in regular check-ins, maybe monthly, maybe quarterly. Sit down with the new hire, review the responsibilities together, see what's changed, what needs adjusting. It shows roles do evolve, and it actually empowers the employee. They become part of shaping their contribution. It's about giving a clear starting line, but also a clear way to adapt.
Right. A living guide, not a stone tablet. I get it. So building on that clarity, the third tip is about setting clear expectations more broadly. Every place has its own way of doing things, its own culture, those unwritten rules. You can't just expect a newbie to absorb all that by osmosis, can you? They need some explicit guidance.
Exactly. And expectations go way beyond just the tasks themselves. It includes things like the work schedule. Is it flexible? Core hours? A strict 9 to 5? Be clear. How does the team communicate? Is Slack okay for quick stuff? Email for formal things? Is there a project tool everyone uses? Tell them. And then there's the bigger stuff. The company culture, the values, the mission. Like, is it super collaborative or more heads down work? How is feedback given direct, indirect? Knowing all this helps them figure out how to interact, what the norms are, and crucially, how their work fits into the bigger picture. Why does their role matter? Getting this right really boosts that positive experience, helps them integrate faster, avoid those awkward early mistakes. Imagine like a new salesperson. They know the product, they're keen, but they waste days figuring out the CRM or who signs off expenses or what casual Friday actually means. That's lost time and unnecessary stress.
That's a great example. It really highlights giving them the cultural map alongside the role map.
Okay, and talking about equipping people, let's hit the fourth strategy. Thorough training. We've all heard stories, maybe even lived it, where someone's just hired and then bam, throw in the deep end, sink or swim. That just seems like a recipe for failure, or at least a lot of stress and mistakes.
It really is. And it's an area where companies often try to cut corners, but the cost of not training properly is usually higher. And it's not just about day one training. It needs to be ongoing, fostering that learning culture. The training itself needs to cover the specific software they'll use, the applications, the tools that team relies on every single day. Tailor it. Maybe use like micro-learning for quick bits of info, peer training for hands-on stuff. Blended approaches work well too, online learning plus live sessions. If you just chuck someone in without training, well, they're less likely to succeed, take way longer to get productive, and yeah, they'll make more mistakes. That affects everyone. There's this myth sometimes, that experienced hires don't need much onboarding. Right, like they should just know everything already.
Exactly. But the reality is, even senior people need onboarding for the culture, the processes, the specific ways this company works. They might need less technical training, sure, but overlooking the rest, that's a common mistake. And it's super important now. Training for remote folks. With so many people working remotely, at least some of the time, your online onboarding has to be really effective. Virtual classrooms, collaboration tools, make sure they feel just as connected and equipped as people in the office.
That's so crucial now, isn't it? Making sure remote and hybrid setups don't create a two-tier onboarding experience. Okay, fifth and final strategy, and it kind of ties everything together. Staying available and keeping communication wide open. Communication's always key, obviously, but for someone new, who probably has a million questions but might feel awkward asking, it's absolutely vital.
Couldn't agree more. You have to consciously create an environment where asking questions is okay, even encouraged. New hires need to feel safe asking for clarification, not worried they'll look stupid. So things like regular check-ins are great. Maybe a scheduled weekly one-on-one with their manager. It's a chance to see how things are going, nip problems in the bud, give feedback. But, and this is important, don't micromanage. The aim is support, guidance, not breathing down their neck. Also really helpful. Introduce them to the wider team involved in onboarding, not just their boss. Help them build those connections early. And connecting this to the bigger picture, setting up a proper mentorship program, that can be incredibly powerful, especially in those first critical 90 days, but even beyond. A mentor can be that trusted guide, someone to ask the dumb questions, navigate the informal stuff, understand the culture. It really speeds up integration and boosts engagement, helps stop people leaving early too.
Okay, so we've walked through these 5 really solid strategies: tools and automation, clarity on roles, setting expectations, thorough training, and open communication with support like mentoring. It sounds like a really comprehensive approach. But let's bring it home. The big question: what does this all actually mean for your organization listening right now? How does this connect to results?
Right, let's connect the dots. When you get onboarding right, using these kinds of strategies, The impact is pretty direct. You see higher employee retention. People stick around longer, in fact. You see that time to productivity shrink dramatically. People start contributing meaningfully much, much faster. And overall, you improve the quality of hire. And by quality, I mean you get people who not only hit their performance goals quicker, but are more engaged, maybe more innovative, and commit to the company long term. HR teams, hiring managers, they're really the key players here. This is strategic talent management, workforce planning in action. And to know if it's working, you need to track things. Look at your key performance indicators, your KPIs. Things like cost per hire, sure, but also offer acceptance rates. And definitely that time to productivity metric. Although, while cost per hire is a standard KPI, we should maybe dig deeper, is a really low cost always good if it means you rushed onboarding and the person isn't integrating well. You got to look at the trade-offs, the long-term value, not just the upfront costs. These metrics give you the data to keep improving, keep optimizing how you bring people in.
That's such a great point about looking beyond just cost. It really frames onboarding correctly. So, fantastic insights today. It's crystal clear that great onboarding isn't just admin. It's not a box-ticking exercise. It truly is a strategic investment, an investment in your people and through them, an investment in your whole organization's future health and success. It's about nurturing talent right from day one.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And maybe that leaves you with a final thought to chew on. This raises an important question. Looking at your own company, your own experiences, where could you make the biggest difference? Could integrating some automation for the routine stuff, or maybe setting up a structured mentorship program, could that truly revolutionize the onboarding journey for your next new hire? Make their start not just good, but genuinely great. Think about that potential impact.